Let's try some stuff. So a couple weeks ago, I did an unboxing of Sketchbox and Art Snacks, and today I'm going to try out some of the stuff that I got in the Sketchbox. So, yeah. Camera angle switch. Alright, so here we are. This is just a plain piece of Canson Bristol. This is a whole pad. The pad didn't come with the Sketchbox, but I got this Pan Pastels set. Looks like there's 6 pans in here. They give you a sponge and a little sponge, and this sponge set also came with the Sketchbox. I think this is just like a hand dauber, and then like another hand dauber, and then these dudes you can load into this thing, I guess. Also got this nice gum eraser. So we'll see if this works with the pastels, and then this Stabilo pen with, what do they call it? They call it sensor technology. It so far just looks like a black pen. So I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of synergy with this set. Let's like, here's some pastels, and here's a pen and an eraser. Maybe if there was a pencil that was included with it, the pen would make, the eraser would make more sense, but I don't know. Alright, so I don't really use pastels a lot. I use pens all the time, so I'll just start with what I know and work up some line art, and then work from there and see how this goes. Okay, so this pen so far just looks like a different kind of micron. I prefer something with a little bit more oomph to it, like a brush pen or something like that. But you know, this is good for technical lines, I guess. We'll see what we got here. All right, so yeah, this I don't know what the difference between this and micron is. I don't know where the sensor technology comes in. to be honest, it's you know. And I'll try not to do too much rendering in ink, just because I guess the pastels will serve as my coloring. I typically color things in Photoshop, so my line art tends to be pretty open. A lot of open space, a lot of spots for people, for the colorist, who's usually me, to go in and do their thing. Because I've colored other people's stuff, and you know, if there's too much ink rendering, I feel bad covering it up with Photoshoppy stuff. So it's a weird creature wearing a spacesuit. Like a goofy monster. Or a goofy alien, I guess. That's what you come here for, folks. The goofy monsters. I mean, my store is called Monster Cutie, so yeah, I mean, this pen's fine. It doesn't, I don't know where the sensor technology comes in. I don't know what the sensor technology is supposed to do. I guess I should have done some preliminary research on it, but so far it's just a pen, man. I gotta turn my arm here. Normally when I draw, I usually turn the pad a lot, but I'm trying a new setup here, so it's kind of difficult. I have my tripod right here, and my phone is my camera, so it's right up here. So it's a little, I'm kind of working around it here. So far the pen does what a micron does. You can use it for complex feathering. You can make it go thin and thick depending on the pressure that you pull with it. For curves like this, I prefer like a brush pen so I can get like some thick outlines here and then taper it a little bit. But this is all right. And we'll put like a weird wacky dome on it. Let's see here. Maybe add some little panel here. It's goofy looking space astronaut alien goofball. Boop, boop. All right, so this is a pen, Stabilo. Honestly, I can't tell you where the sensor technology comes in. Okay, so the container for these Pan Pastels, it's a screw top, so we can unscrew all of this stuff and lay out the colors. We got a purple, we got a blue. Oh, I apologize for the sniffing. I have allergies, so life is always terrible when there's a season change. All right, so we've got like a yellowish gold, well, it's shimmery, but I don't know how that's gonna go on. We got a purple, blue, green, and we got a white, which is not very useful for the color paper that we're using. So these are the little things that came in the set. I guess I'm gonna use this handle for this thing. I can sneak that in here. This is very, the foam pads have a lot of friction, so it bunches up when you try to pull it on, push it on to this plastic handle, or I'm not doing it right. Like I said, I don't use pastels at all. Okay, so my general, the thing I like to do when I color is start from light to dark. So we're gonna start with this yellow here and brush on a little bit of color. You can see picking up some of that pastel, and let's just apply it to the page. Oh, it is, I don't know if this is coming up on the video, but it is glittery. So it's not just a pad full of color, it's glittery. So yeah, that's a thing. And the way I like to color with natural medium, if I'm working in paints or watercolor, I usually do a light layers, washes and stuff. So I try not to go too heavy initially with the color. So, you know, I might time lapse this to make it seem like something's actually happening. It's weird, man. I don't use glitter ever, so to see this shimmery stuff going on is kind of interesting. So I wanna imply that there's light coming from this direction, even though this is a pretty simple piece of line art. I still want to maintain a light source, so I'm going to pretend that the light is coming from that direction. And if I lay it on a little bit more thick towards the base, I get a nice sort of gradation here. I don't use makeup, so I don't know if this is what like if you put on foundation, if this is a similar kind of thing. But let's see. The other thing I want to see is if I use my finger to push this stuff around. Like it doesn't seem like it's sticking to the paper. It just seems like you're pushing glitter around the page and lightly toning an area. Like it doesn't seem to be sticking. Maybe you have to use a fixative at the end of your session to make sure it sticks. All right, so that's that color. We have a big sponge. Maybe I'll use the big sponge for some other toning. Yeah, see, like it doesn't really stay. So I usually use a purple hue when I do shading to kind of do an overall shading. So maybe that's the way I'll approach this. So I'm gonna use this sponge to pick up some of this blue and just kind of wash it in here. Feather it to the edges. Like this doesn't seem like it's sticking on the paper. It just kind of feels like it's rubbing on the surface and just kind of sliding along. It's honestly kind of messy. Which is great if you like that kind of thing. So we're gonna brush in some of this blue to imply that this helmet is transparent a little bit. Man, it just, let's see. No, it is sticking on. It just, very light. I don't know what I was expecting. I had no idea what to expect, so this is all new to me. Trying to build some depth in this, and it doesn't seem to be making the area any darker. I'm trying to go in a little bit more heavy with the color here, and it just doesn't seem to doesn't want to get in there, man. Little bit. I don't know how you clean these. I guess you just wash them with water. I'll figure that out. It's really difficult to round things out with this stuff. Just brush in a little bit into the skin just to see how well they blend together. It's pretty good, I guess. You can see a little bit of that blue in there. Slight little bit of it. It's kind of bringing out some interesting tones. This glitter stuff is really, the shine is really throwing me off here. All right, so this pad I think is going to be for the yellow stuff. I'm going to swap out pads and oh, the pads are double-sided, duh. So I'm going to just flip this around and try to jam it back into the thing. I don't think I'm doing this correctly. All right, I'm gonna use the green now for the face. Add some coloration to the monster, to the alien, because skin has different tones in it. So even though it's overall golden, I kind of want to imply some other things going on. Alright, so give some shadow to the eyes and brush in some of this here. This is wacky, man. He kind of looks sickly. Oh, I'm an alien, I'm dying. We'll put this green in here. And try to put some green in here. Build up the forms a little bit, see if I can get some depth to it. It's really difficult. I'm finding it really difficult to render with this stuff. It's a little bit hard to control, which I guess leads to happy accidents. But this is definitely not my thing. I like a slightly more a little bit more precision. I find that there's a little bit more precision when I'm working with watercolors or paints than this pastel stuff. It's like you're smearing on pigment and then just pushing it around, and it just doesn't stay where you want it to. It doesn't go where you want it to. So I'm kind of glad that I put down some line art instead of just going right into the pastel stuff, because this stuff is very hard to manage. I'm sure if you're used to this, everything I'm saying, you're probably fuming, going like, "You idiot! You don't know what you're doing." You're right. I don't know what I'm doing. This is my chance to test out a new thing, and it is not very successful, at least. Okay, so I think he's looking a little, or she, or it is looking a little sickly, so I want to get in some of this purple here. I'm going to use this sponge and just kind of try to bring some life back into the face a little bit. Round that out. Oh, that's much better. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. We'll get some of this rounded out a little bit. Get some of that in there. Okay. Getting something. Use the undipped side to sort of blend this stuff. It kind of looks like something. Let's see here. Okay. Whoop. It's getting there. It's getting there. What I'm finding is that the more layers you drop onto it, the darker it goes, but it's slow going, man. Like I think if I wanted to, I could spend a couple more hours just laying on layers and layers of this glitter pastel stuff to kind of build up the depth. Seems like that's the way to use this. If you have a lot of time to just kind of sit there and dab away. This is not for the impatient. And if you're all right with happy accidents and going outside the lines, you know, that's who this is for. Or if you really like glitter, because this is a lot of glitter. I'm gonna feather this out a little bit. All right, we got to use everything. So here's the eraser. Let's see what's going on. Oh, nice, nice. The eraser does work with the pastels. So I lied. There is some synergy with this sketch set. That makes this pretty cool. So I can get some interesting highlights here if I want to erase a little bit around the badge. So that's cool. I can dip in and add some highlights so that this looks like shiny armor. Shiny, 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 shiny. Interesting, interesting. This is great too if you want to clean up outside the lines. So like if I was really anal retentive about my line art, I could go around the outside with this eraser and just take care of all of that. Wow, surprising synergy. Surprising synergy in the sketchbox. I had my doubts. It's nice to be proven wrong. That's great. All right, so let's see. Get a little of that highlight up in there because that's supposed to be a metal part. Pick up some more of this. All right, I have not used the white yet, so let's just use the corner of this one and try to see what we can see. You can barely tell that I'm doing anything. So I don't know. This white doesn't really work it. I think if I was using a toned piece of paper, this would really add something. The white does not seem to be as sparkly as the rest of the kit, so that's a disappointment if you were looking forward to just adding sparkly tones to your page. But I can bring out some cheek highlights. So that's cool. I don't know. Maybe if you do makeup or you're familiar with makeup tools, maybe this set makes more sense to you. To me, this is all new stuff. All right, I think I'm almost done. One thing I do want to try out is drawing over the pastels with the pen. So I'm going to fill in the mouth here. And it seems to work pretty well over the pastel marks. So like you would imagine any old pen would be able to do. Feathering is a little tough, but you know, it's a pen. What do you want? do some of this stuff here. So it's pretty cool. It doesn't gunk up the pen as far as I can tell. Sometimes when you draw over mediums, they can tend to gunk up or they bleed. The pastel is dry, so it's not bleeding. And it looks like the ink gets absorbed into the glitter. So like, it's hard to tell, but it's still shiny underneath this stuff. So I guess the ink kind of draws through the glitter. But there you go. I can finish up this. This is a little weird angle for my arm to draw it. Let's go this way. And then let's add a thicker outline to this. This is at the point where I would probably go back in with a brush pen and really thicken up the border lines here, but you know, you use what you're given, and this was the pen that I was given in the sketch box. So then maybe add a little bit more here. Then every space alien needs some scratches on their armor, man. You know, space dust. All right, so I was wrong. There is some synergy in this set. The marker, or the pen, draws easily over the pastels. The eraser comes in handy when you want to do some nice highlights, like if I want to bring out this edge here, can do that. All right, I think I'm gonna stop there. I kind of wish I had a darker tone, like a black or something, so I could really test out the shading and kind of build these forms up a little bit more. But you know, it's pretty interesting. I think it's a decent choice of colors to start with. If this was really my thing, I would definitely need a lot more colors to work with. More darker tones, I think, would help round this set out, to really get into some shading and stuff. I don't like this pen particularly much. I don't hate this pen particularly much. This pen does what a pen does, so it's not like a great find. It's not a bad find. If this is cheaper than a Micron, that's fine. I haven't tested to see if this ink is water safe, so that's going to be the difference. If this ink does bleed, then it's no good. But from what I can tell, it works just fine with these pastels. The nib isn't so gunked up. Racer's great. Blasts away this stuff. This tool is great, although my hand is still shiny with glitter. Oh, I didn't try this little doohickey, but the sponges are all fine. They all work the way they're supposed to. So yeah, that's this sketch box set. Pastels and aliens. Whee! And there you have it, my weird little alien space astronaut. So, if you were sitting there watching that demo and screaming at the screen, "You don't know what you're doing! Oh my god, I could totally use that set!" Well, good news. I'm going to be giving this whole set away to somebody in the comments. So, in order to get this, just drop a comment on this video saying what you would do with this pastel set, and I will randomly choose a comment. I'll use a random number generator and count and all that kind of stuff. So you have a week to enter a comment, and I'll pick a winner and get in touch with you through the comments and send this to you and all that kind of stuff. And then you can make a mess on your own and have fun with the pastels. But yeah, I don't think this is for me. But it was fun to try. I would never have tried this out if I didn't pick up a sketch box. So I guess that's good. It's always good to learn new stuff. I'm gonna try to figure out how to wash these sponges out so that when I send it to you, it'll be clean or relatively clean, so you can make your own messes and not have to go over with the same stuff that I did. All right, so thank you for checking this out. Hopefully, I hope this was helpful for you. Pan Pastel is the brand if you want to try it yourself. If you don't want to try it and you saw what I did and you were like, nah, that's not for me, then it's good to know, because now you'll never have to worry about it. I don't think I'm ever going to use these ever again. All right, so thanks, and I'll check you later. Bye.